Not the best setup today, I know, but we've got a special guest. Hey! I know. You're very grumpy that I'm sitting next to you, aren't you? So I know the title of this video, and probably the thumbnail by the time I've got around to creating it, it's probably going to put me at risk of some people wanting to revoke my angry feminist card, but I think we need to talk about this. He agrees. Why do you look so mad with me? You're such a freak. Good boy. So, in the last week or so, there's been more and more kind of rumours coming out about the fact that Suzy Wolff might be standing for FiA president when the elections come around this year. And to make it very clear, I do think that Suzy Wolff would make an excellent FiA president. I think she's very intelligent, despite the fact that she's married to somebody who I can't stand, never getting any sponsorships from Mercedes. She's very well spoken. She knows a hell of a lot about racing, having been a team principal and also having been a racing driver. She's a very smart businesswoman. She's been running F1 Academy for a couple of years. I just think overall she's a really good pick as a person and as a business person. However, Suzy Wolff cannot be FiA president as long as Toto Wolff is the team principal and part owner of Mercedes, Petronas, AMG, Formula One team. And this isn't just about ethics, and it's not just about conflicts of interest, because obviously there is a major conflict of interest there. You also then have to consider the fact that Suzy Wolff would be the first ever woman president of the FiA. And to have that kind of clouded over and potentially marred by the fact she's married to one of the owners of a Formula One team, well, that's why the title of this video is Suzy Wolff cannot be FiA president. You can't separate completely what goes on track with your home life. You just can't do it. Like, nobody can compartmentalize to that kind of extreme, right? You can't prove to the public or to those who are scrutinizing you that you are able to compartmentalize that without inviting cameras and sound equipment into your home 24/7. Not just your home, your car, your hotel rooms, every single place you go. The only way you can prove that you do not have a problem is by essentially allowing people 24/7 access to your lives, which is ridiculous, right? So no matter how good a job Suzy Wolff does, every time there is even a tiny whiff that there might be something that Mercedes has benefited from in a regulation change, in a decision, even in a recruitment and within the FiA, in a position being given to a certain member, if there's ever any even suggestion that there might be, then Suzy Wolff is going to be more under fire than any other person in that role. The thing is, I think Suzy Wolff is a very smart, intelligent woman. I don't understand how a smart, intelligent woman could end up with a person like Toto Wolff. Yes, I'm probably the only woman over 35 who doesn't like him. What do you think, Gordo? Oh, he's silent now. So I did have a full kind of video planned out to talk about how I feel about Toto, but Perspective already got there before me, and he frankly did a better job and said everything that I wanted to say. So I'm going to put the link to that video down here because you really should go and watch it. Pretty much everything he said I 100% completely agree with. So instead I decided to dig into why I think Suzy Wolff can't be FiA president as long as Toto has interests in that company. Because basically, if she really wants that job, she's got two choices. She's got leave her husband or convince him to sell his team. And that's pretty much it. And that I think is a real shame for global motorsport, because I think that Suzy would be a great person to have in that job, frankly. I always find it really hard doing videos without scripts because I kind of like go off on these sort of thought tangents, and I am surrounded by shit right now. Like, I've got stuff that I'm packing over here. Then it's really hard to cut them together, which is kind of annoying. Like, it's just kind of overflowing. If you subscribe to my channel, that would be really, really helping me. Terrible segue, I know. I am thinking about starting a Patreon where you would get absolutely nothing, to be clear. You would get absolutely nothing from a Patreon other than to be able to say, I support you. I'll put your name in a credit. But part of the reason why I want to do that is because I want to commit to never ever being sponsored. Now, my chances of ever actually reaching the point where anyone reaches out to try and sponsor me are probably pretty slim, but I think making that decision early on is really important because I want to make sure that this channel is completely my personal opinions that have not ever been influenced by anything else. I also don't want to be waiting to be able to put out videos. I like to be able to just kind of say my thoughts to the camera and dump them out really quickly. To just kind of get them out of my head, to be completely honest. The reality is, if I sit on them for too long, what can happen is I start to get anxious about what's in them, that kind of thing. So I also have no chill when it comes to like editing and posting videos. I need to just I need it out there now. It needs to be gone. I can't sit on things. Anything that I sit on just kind of sits on my computer hard drive for like 6 months and I never get around to posting it or editing it. So please make sure that you click that subscribe button and click the like button because as every YouTuber ever tells you, it is super helpful. It does help tell the algorithm that maybe this video is worth watching. And you know what? I never see people that look like me, women, recommended to me on my homepage. I never see that. The only channel that I ever get on my homepage that is from women doing F1 content is from a podcast that I subscribe to. Yeah. So just think about that. You would think that I would be the target demographic for women YouTubers. Apparently not. Yeah. So please subscribe to my channel. Share my videos with your friends. Follow me on Blue Sky and repost when I share my videos. That really helps. I really do want to get to that magic 1,000 subscribers sometime this year, preferably before summer break would be great. This isn't me like nagging, this isn't me complaining or anything like that, but I do genuinely think that it would be nice to see more women F1 YouTubers represented in what YouTubers recommending to me. And I'd be really interested to know whether or not you see anything. So anyway, back to Suzy. So the reality of any person in any kind of position of power, especially when they're a woman, is that you are subject to more criticism. And you are subject to different standards. And I know there's a lot of anti-feminist people out there who would say otherwise, but you're wrong. That's it. And I also want you to think about what your attitude and what your opinion is of Suzy Wolff, because a lot of the time, the criticism that I see of Suzy Wolff are from other women who have a hell of a lot of internalized misogyny. The other people that I see criticizing her are horrible, disgusting men. And it's really interesting. I remember a few months ago, I posted a video that kind of inflamed a lot of people in the comments, and that was good for me because, like, honestly, when people get complainy and bitchy in the comments, what that means is that the YouTube algorithm thinks that people are having good chats about it, and then it recommends the video to people. So that means that those kind of videos that tend to be a little bit inflammatory do generate a lot of clicks. And I said something in that video, and I can't even remember what the video was now, that people got at me about because I was sharing a reality of, it was about girls getting into motorsport. And I was sharing the reality of how we still live in a society where people very much gender specific things. And there were people in the comments going, aha, this woman doesn't know society's gone on and changed, you're 40 years old. Like, things are different now. They're not, because you know what? I'm nearly 40 years old. And what that means is that a lot of my friends have children. And what that means is that I see a lot of stuff and a lot of parents saying things to their kids that are very specifically gendering things, okay? Like, you might think that when you're walking through the aisles of your local friggin' Target or Kmart or whatever, that parents aren't looking at toys and going, that car's for my boy and that Barbie doll's for my girl. But they are. They just are. If you think that that doesn't exist anymore, then you're absolutely fucking deluding yourself. And I think there's a lot of people that are trying to do better. Absolutely. Like, a lot of my friends are those people that are trying to do better. But even those people that are trying to do better are still very much kind of adhering to gender norms. Like, one of my friends likes to dress her little girl in pink. Okay, that's getting a bit rambly. So that's the kind of reality, right? You personally might think you don't have kind of misogynistic perceptions and like deal with internalized stuff, that kind of thing, that's fine. You might think that your friends are far more enlightened and progressive, but most people live in their little bubbles and have their opinions, and they still have these very much kind of internalized biases that they don't realize. And the number of times that I hear people say stuff that I'm like, damn, that is offensive. Like, and I mean like obviously offensive, and then challenge them on it, and they either don't know that what they said like clearly showed that they had some pretty serious biases that they need to address, or they'll just double down on it and tell me to stop being so politically correct. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna accept you saying the N-word in public. I'm gonna tell you that that's messed up. Like, what? But people still say it here. People who look like me. I am Pākehā as shit, man. So yeah, Suzy, as much as I would love to see her as FIA president, I don't think ever has a hope in hell of becoming president, because A, she wouldn't be able to get the support because Mohammed bin Sulayem has basically, from what I can gather, bought half of the FIA members. And like, check out a couple of different videos about that. And B, it could potentially be the death of her reputation. And I'm not talking like Max Mosley levels of reputation death here. I don't think there's any way that a Suzy Wolff FIA presidency would not be marred by controversy from start to the bitter end, because it would be. It would end really badly, and that would not be a good thing for women in motorsport overall. You know, this is before Jess Hawkins. Suzy Wolff was the last woman ever to do a test in a Formula 1 car. Again, going into the comments of some of my videos, you would think that otherwise, because I had people saying, women drive Formula 1 cars all the time. They don't. They don't. Before Jess Hawkins, the last person to do it was Suzy Wolff, which I believe was in 2014. I could be wrong. I'll put it down here if I'm correct or wrong or whatever. I think it was. Women are always held to a much higher standard than men, especially when they're doing jobs that have been traditionally considered male roles. And I think that Suzy would be a much better choice for FIA president than her husband, because she's much more measured in her approach. She seems much more calm. You know, like Toto, when he's not happy, he tends to throw big tanties. I have never seen that from Suzy, but then having said that, like, I don't know, maybe that's just something that we've never seen before. And I think it's a real shame that her being FIA president is not really something that's feasible in the short term. I think it is definitely something that is feasible in the long term if Toto ever releases his stake in the Mercedes team. But that's not something that can happen now. And it's not something that can happen this year. And that's a real shame, but it is true. And if it all works out, and if she runs, and if she wins, and if it's not a complete absolute clusterfuck from start to finish, not necessarily internally, but in the media, then, I don't know, I don't have a hat to eat. Maybe I'll shave Gordo. I mean, he's got a really shitty bum right now, so he probably does kind of need it. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, click the like button, share this video with your friends, or one of my other videos, I don't know, whatever. I will see you next time from Australia. Possibly on the road. I think doing a little road trip video with Biz would be really fun. We could maybe talk about some F1 stuff while we're driving from Melbourne to Adelaide. We will be attending the Adelaide Motorsport Festival, and we'll be going to the Melbourne Grand Prix. So, yeah, I'll see you next time from Australia.